What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be working on the front bumper of Project Kia. If you watched the last video, you saw like I had already started on it a little bit. Well, I just got to thinking about it all week, and I just didn't like the way it was going. I could have definitely made something out of it. I went back to the KISS saying, "Keep it simple, stupid," because I have the components that I want, and I need to just put them together in the way that flows the best. And I really want it to look well, and I don't know, I'm not a professional bumper builder, so I think what I got going on now is a good start. And so let's go ahead and go through the process. As we had talked about in the earlier video, I was going to notch this out, so I've gone ahead and done that. And this is the winch mounting plate. So I notched this out and plated it back in and left just enough room to slip this plate in there. Once I got that slipped in there, I welded it along the bottom here, and then on the back side on the bottom. Now, I know what you're saying, like as of right now, this isn't very strong by itself. And to a point, that's true. I have been able to jack the vehicle up by this with no issues, but I am going to be gusseting everything, and this cross piece is actually going to be tied to this factory cross member with tubes and a skid plate. The factory skid plate bolts here and here, so I'm going to be reusing those two mounting bosses to attach the skid plate, because the tubes are going to go from the bottom of this rectangular tubing down to that cross member, just for impact stability, and that will also help the pulling capacity. Again, this winch is pretty small, so I don't think that it's going to take a whole bunch of strength to hold up to what the actual winch is going to be able to do, but I think it'll be nice to have a place to continue this skid plate, the factory skid plate that goes to that to the subframe up to these mounting bosses, to protect all the steering and the sway bar, and then continue it up to here. So I got this section done, and I got to thinking about that top flat piece of tubing I had welded to these bumper brackets. Those are the factory bumper brackets, and I didn't want to modify them in case I had what happened, and I didn't like the design. I didn't want to build new brackets yet out of stronger material until I knew what I was ultimately going to do. So as I got to looking at it, I decided I didn't like it. I got to looking at the factory bumper and was wondering how it would look if I did a hidden hitch, a hidden winch mount style. So I went ahead, and since I was not planning on using the factory bumper anyway, I went ahead and started modifying it to see if I would like it. Now I have the factory bumper support in place. You can tell I had to clearance it on the sides for the crossbar, and in the middle here for the winch to set in. And now these two bolts, there's two attachment points in the center. They only hold the bumper cover, so I wasn't too worried about removing that much material. And this stuff is a joke as far as a bumper actually being structural anyway, but I was able to maintain the two mounting holes up top and on the bottom. So if there was to be any side impact, once I have all that bolted down, it should be fairly stout. I mean, as stout as it was expected to be from the factory. So now I have gone ahead and modified the factory bumper cover to clear the winch. I just had it mocked up in here. So we'll go ahead and set it in there and see what it looks like. now we've got the bumper cover set on there. You'll maybe be able to tell I've cut probably 5 inches off of the bottom all the way across. I was able to maintain these little bump outs that I think help maintain a factory look. So cut about 5 inches off of the bottom there, and then clearanced out the center so that it sits over the winch and on the factory bumper bracket, so that all the mounting hardware will line up. It all clears here. I still have enough room, to get to the free spool and the lock, and then that way it maintains all the factory lines where it meets up to the fenders and the trim plate that goes here and the headlights. So we'll go ahead and throw those in there, and the grill roughly on there, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, boys and girls, here we have it all roughed in. These gaps and everything will be tighter because I literally just have them setting in there, but this is how it's going to look. That's a ton more clearance than factory, especially once I get the lift on there and the bigger tires. But I think that looks pretty neat. Definitely it's going to look cool when I get those down bars for the skid plate. I don't know. I think I'm going to call that good. I got some trim cap that I'll be able to run along that bottom bead the whole way around and kind of give it a finished look. I'll also do it here around the opening. So I guess that's gonna be it. I'm gonna get this painted, and I'll get those down tubes done maybe this weekend. But if not, I at least want to give you guys a little bit of update to go off of. I had too much daylight left, so I couldn't just leave it the way it was. So what I've got now is this is the solenoid. I have it mounted to, there was a tab there already with that was tapped, so I could reuse it to mount that solenoid. I have all the wires just mocked up here. Cable management is something that I think is lost in the youth of today, and it's sad, really. So I'm going to go ahead, and I got some of this fuel line that I've gone ahead and split, and I'm going to use it for some protective sheathing around anywhere that could potentially rub the wires. I have, this is the power in the ground, run up through back behind the headlight, underneath the washer tank, and then nice and tidy up here to the 2 breakers, and then I'll hook the ground up when I get to that. I do have some little caps for all the wires, so there won't be any just raw lugs sticking out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this hose and the lines all tidied up with some zip ties, and we'll move forward. Alright guys, we ran out of light, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day, but all I have left to do, I've got all the protective covers on there, zip tied anywhere that it could potentially contact. I've got it taken care of with that fuel line. Got all this stuff nice and zip tied up behind where you won't be able to see any of it. This is the only thing I have left to do, and I'm going to be mounting it in the top of the bumper cover, but it is the plug for the controller. This winch actually came with 2 controllers, so you can run the one externally. It is just a little handheld right here. You just plug that into that receptacle and in and out. It also came with one that you could mount on the handlebars of a ATV, and I don't know if I'm going to run that inside or not. I definitely could. Coming around here, we have the tied up again back here behind the headlight. and I got this the little cover on there, and this cover was able to go back down on there. So this bus bar here is hot, so I might do something to try and cover that up, but I'm not sure yet. I'll go ahead and get back at this tomorrow and update you guys with another video. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share with your friends if you think that they would be interested in this build. Thanks, guys.